to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Well, welcome to New Life Live. Larry Sonnenberg sitting in for Steve Arterburn today, and I'm blessed to be in between Dr. Alice Benton. Hi, Alice.
Hello.
And Dr. Sherry Keffer.
Hey, good to be with you both and all our listeners today.
Yeah, you know, we were on together a couple of days ago, and I'm going to share some of the same things I did then when we opened the program, so bear with me. We are starting on Monday, just this coming Monday, right around the corner, our live auction. First time we've done this. It's an online auction, and I want to just share some of the things we have for you to bid on, and to let you know it's going to be easy to do. You just need to go to the site and register, and in order to make a bid, you need either a debit card or a credit card, and then if you are the winning bid, only then will the card be charged. And we're hoping for a lot of winning bids because we got a lot of things. Let me just share some quickly. We have a brain scan from Dr. Raymond with a time with a psychiatrist at his clinic here in Orange County or LA. We have water skiing at a private lake with a professional water skier, and that belongs to the lake is where Becky Brown lives.
Oh, I've seen pictures of that place. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, and you go online, you see Bruce skiing. That's amazing. We have some coaching from Chris Williams, from Sherry Keffer, from one of our board members, Julie Voorhees, and for Steve Arterburn. We have some jewelry, a gift certificate for a jewelry store, and we have someone who made some homemade jewelry that is giving that to us. We have some vacation homes. People are offering weekends. Lake Tahoe, Flagstaff, Arizona, Seattle, and by now we should have wrapped up and had everything set to go. We've got a private villa in Dominican Republic, and that's amazing. We have Milan Jurkovic, his family guitar. The kids are all out of the home. He's done guitar playing, so he's going to give it to us for an auction.
Wow.
We've got 3 sculptures, and it's not the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's John the Baptist, bust of the Apostle Paul, and then the Duke, John Wayne. That little statue's been sitting in our office for about 10 years or more.
It's beautiful. You all have to see it. You'll have a picture of it, right?
Yep.
But it is a beautiful statue of John Wayne.
And Dr. Sherry Keffer has offered her home, and she's going to cook dinner and for 4 people, plus some other radio hosts who will be invited and staff.
Alice, Chris, anybody who's local, man, coming on over to my house for some grub to be with you all and hang out. Yeah.
We have some autographed books, including Sherry's book and some others that Steve has done. We have an antique toy, a Popeye toy. It's really kind of cool. We have a baseball card collection, like 20,000 baseball cards. And
that's a sacrifice to donate that. You know how long it takes to save those?
And there are a few little nuggets in there, I'm told. So we have a deer hunting experience, a day on the farm. You want to take your kids and go visit what it's like to live on a farm. A camping experience. Steve's done some artwork. He's painted a beautiful big vase. He's done a little painting of some tulips. It's really, you got to look at these.
I mean, they're one-of-a-kind pieces. So that's what's really fun about an auction like this, Larry, is you see it, get it. It's a write-off, too. I mean, you have a wonderful experience or this wonderful treasure, and it helps us, and it's a tax write-off. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
We also have 2 cruises, a Caribbean cruise that someone has donated, and we have we've got a spot in our cruise next year for New Life. What the river is it? Anyway, it's a river cruise in Europe, and we're giving one of those away. And we got a lot of camera equipment. If you're a photographer, my goodness, you got to go look at these lenses in the camera. We'll be back after this. Take a call. We're just excited to have this opportunity. So hold the line. We'll get to your calls.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Columbus, Ohio, October 25th to the 27th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we are back, and we're ready to go to the calls. You're on with Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Sherry Keffer. I'm Larry Sonnenberg, and we are going to go to line 2 and talk to Mandy. Mandy listens on Sirius XM from South Bend, Indiana. Hello, Mandy.
Hi. Hello.
How can we help you?
So I kind of have a twofold question, but I'll try to sum this up as quick as possible. So I married my high school sweetheart, but prior to that, we had been together for about 5 years. We got engaged 6 weeks before our wedding. He was in an accident that caused him some pretty massive brain injury and changed him. I agreed to marry him anyhow, so about a year later, it was horrible. He's not the same person anymore, and so through that marriage, we had a child. My son was 4 when we separated. And subsequently, it was about 2 years before our divorce was final. I was single for, at that point, pretty much. I mean, I dated, but I had been single and did not remarry for about another, probably 10 years. If I look at it really realistically, it's 10 years. So I'm remarried to an amazing man who is amazing on every level. He is everything I had ever hoped and prayed for. I believe wholeheartedly he was the man that God had intended for me post all of this drama. So with that, I tend to be a person who doesn't want to deal with horrible, hurtful things. I kind of stuff it down. And through all of the moves and all of these things, I still have a bucket, basically a huge tote of pictures from our marriage and of our child. I recently had to go through those pictures to locate some of my son for this project for his school. Going through those pictures just brought back all of that hurt and all of that pain of, remembering who he used to be, my ex-husband, put everything he put me through, the verbal and the physical abuse and just the ugly hatefulness that sadly has continued even beyond our divorce. I mean, he just does everything he can to make my life miserable to this day. Our child is nearing the end of his high school and we're still dealing with this. So, the question kind of came out of this is in conversation with my husband. He's really not a fan of having these things in our home, these pictures from my marriage. My reasoning for keeping them aren't for me. Like, I'm not holding on to any of this with him. But my husband feels like it's unhealthy to have these things in our home because this is our home. And those are the things of the past that are ugly and hurtful and hateful and obviously bring this anxiety. I have been suffering from like major anxiety and sadness looking through all of those things again. And so I worry that, and he worries that I have not healed from all of that hurt. And I feel like, how do you ever heal from that? He was my first love. He was my first everything. I had never been with anybody else and on any level, and my first real boyfriend. And, so then I marry, we have a child.
And Mandy, I'm going to jump in with a question. because what a tragedy that this happened to your high school sweetheart, and then everything was different. You practically married a different man that you didn't even know, and what else could you have chosen to do at the time? So, oh my goodness, of course this is tough, seeing those old photos and then wondering what to do with them, and wondering if your son may need them in the future. But as you say, how can you ever get over a love like that and a loss like that? What steps have you taken in the healing process for your own heart and the damage that continues?
I feel like most of it has just been time. I mean, I've had some other situations in my life that have thrust me into counseling, and I think we probably talked about those things a little bit, but probably focused more on the issue at hand. So realistically, I can't say that outside of just trying to stuff it down and just get over it. I've not really dealt with it. Okay. I still see him, and I look at him, and I feel sad. In fact, as I say it, like, I struggle because I don't know him still.
And it must be so confusing to what kind of relationship to maintain with him for the sake of your son. Yeah. And here your current husband is trying to protect you. Mandy, we feel for our hearts go out for you in this situation. What's your question for us? How can we help you?
So the question I have twofold is, well, first, how do I get over that? But probably more importantly for me at this point is to protect the sanctity of the marriage I have now and his feelings. Like, he does not like that these things are in our home, and I say, well, what should I do? I don't want to get rid of these pictures. These are the pictures of my son's mother and father, and he will want them, and he's still in school.
Mandy, you have an idea, and it might be a stupid idea, but I'm going to say it anyway. What if you rented a safe deposit box, put the pictures in there? When your son is at the right age, you give him the key and tell him there's a treasure there for him, and let him withdraw those. Then it'll cost you a little bit to open up probably a rather large safe deposit box, but it gets it out of the home.
It would be pretty big.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I understand wanting to not invade your home with those pictures, but like you said, there'll be treasures for your son.
And I wonder if your husband is reacting more towards your reaction over the pictures and over your unfinished work. I mean, because if
I think.
Go ahead.
I think you're probably right, because we both, have had situations, unfortunately, this led to infidelity, from him to me. My husband dealt with infidelity in his past relationships, and so I worry that he feels somewhat that there's this candle held for my ex-husband, which is not the case. I can't hold a candle for someone who treated me so horribly, but I still grieve the hurt that he caused in my life. And that's where my husband says, and he's right, I need to deal with it.
He is a wise man, and let me tell you why. It's so often people think that time heals all wounds. And you know what heals wounds? Work. Therapy, healing opportunities. You can run, but you can't hide from trauma. It's really in there. It's a real thing. And you have complicated bereavement from all the losses. And then you also have some trauma-induced hurts that are in there. So I like Larry's idea, actually, about a place to hold the pictures. I think that's very creative. But I wouldn't stop there. I would actually go in and do some trauma work. Yeah. You might even think about doing something called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's EMDR. It's for symptoms of trauma and deep hurt like you've had. And yes, you're going to cry when you're doing the work, but you're crying without doing the work, right? And so I've worked with folks where painful things like those pictures can be somewhat neutralized, and you're not there yet. And when those things are neutralized, you're free. And so that's what I want for you. I want you to walk right into that and don't wait another day.
And I just want to add that, Mandy, you are worth it to get that help. A lot of us think that, well, I just have to stuff it and I got to move on. I've got a young boy, got to just keep surviving. but your whole life is impacted, and even your son and now your husband are impacted by not getting the healing. So it would be to the benefit of the whole family to know you're worth it and to take the time and invest in your healing.
Yeah. Mandy, thank you for calling us. I hope that this conversation has helped you and that you'll get some of that work.
What's so funny is I think so many of us are afraid to go in and do the healing because we're afraid of feeling those feelings again. Like we think it's going to feel like it was when it happened, but that's not true. Yes, you're going to feel feelings, but you're not living that same event. You just need to move through it. You're going through it, not, you go
through the valley.
I want to get over it. I go, we don't get over it. We go through it, and then you come out lighter on the other side.
Yeah, thank you for that. Take your life back for her?
That would be great.
All right, we'll do that. Let's talk to John. John's in Dallas, Texas, and he listens on the Word, KWRD. Hello, John. How you doing?
Hey there. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, first of all, let me just ask real quick. What do y'all think in terms of, people having, do we believe in that in, sexual? See what I'm saying? If you're...
you just dropped out, John. We really want to hear you, and you just dropped out. Can you tell us again?
Ask it again and see if we can keep you on.
Yeah, we may have to come back to another call. So sad because it's kind of hard when we don't get the full question. But let's go on and maybe we can come back.
Let's go talk to Elizabeth on line 1, Pensacola, Florida. Hello, Elizabeth. How can we help you?
Oh, hello?
Hello there. You're on. How can we help you?
Yes, hi. I was calling because on that Willard, I was thinking of that emotional attachment. I was married to, actually still married, we're separated, to a Vietnam vet that has PTSD. And in the years of we were married, I believe now I have PTSD from all the trauma that I went through. And so about 2.5 years ago or so, I started psychotherapy at the VA. And now, referring back to Willard, I got an emotional attachment to my therapist. They call it transference. And I wanted you to address that because I think... And I try to explain this. I was very sheltered growing up, type of person, and then I got into a marriage that wasn't exactly for a person that's introverted and shy like me, and so I didn't realize I was very traumatized, and so when I went into therapy, he's so nice and kind, and I didn't have anybody else to talk to but him. And so I got this transference, and so now our after a few years now, our sessions are ending, and so my question is, how do you go on from that? Because now I feel real lost. It's sort of the only person that I've been able to talk to all these years.
Elizabeth, it's completely natural that you would feel this way. And that losing your therapist it's like losing a dear friend, maybe one of the most intimate relationships you've ever had, emotionally intimate relationships you've ever had. And if yes. And if this therapist is your only strong and safe connection in your life, it could be terrifying to lose that. So you're in a good place because you're talking about it, and I sure hope you have and will continue to bring it to the therapist as the sessions come to an end, because your soul is already grieving the loss of what you have with your therapist, and your therapist can help you walk through that. But another part that I'm sure he's recommended to you too is that your life needs to be filled up with more people, especially women, peers, that you can develop that
Yes.
connection with. God designed us to be in community, and when we don't have that safe community, our soul just yearns for it.
Yes. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to bring it up because now I see it as the reason why our therapy's ending. He thinks I'd be better served, I guess, with a lady counselor. And
I was just going to say that.
I mentioned it to the girls at the church, and they said absolutely you should see a woman counselor. But I did start group therapy yesterday. It's,
So proud of you. You know what, Elizabeth?
DBT.
Yep.
Dialectic.
You are growing like a weed. You're growing like a weed. You make me think of my journey. I've had 4 really good therapists. I feel like Dorothy on The Wizard of Oz. I had the Scarecrow and the Tin Man and the Courage. I mean, I've had some amazing people, but I had some mom wounds and some dad wounds, and I found that having a different therapist to go deep with me helped fill some cracks that I don't know if I could have got another way. But now I've been able to take what I learned there out on the street to real people, and I'm standing on my own with men and women.
Okay, we'll be back right after this.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
Last year, after Every Man's Battle, I was so moved by the transformation that I saw not only in myself, but in the guys in our small group and the other people that were there and the stories that I heard, that I decided to go ahead and join Club New Life as a contributor to that.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
You guys are doing God's work here. You're restoring marriages. You're giving people hope. It's just been such a blessing to me, and I just wanted to encourage you all. When you see something good that God's doing, just jump on that and help support that.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433.
Give your support to them if you can, and just help them do what God's doing here in the world.
Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we're back. And Elizabeth, we're really glad you called. It sounds like you're doing some good work, taking some good steps. Your counselor has advised you very wisely, I think. And we want to send you How We Love. We think that would be a book that would really minister to you and help you in this process. But go find that female counselor, keep doing the group work, and you'll be on track. Let's talk to Scott. Scott's calling from Kilgore, Texas. He listens on the Word, KWRD. Hello, Scott.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Up and down right now.
All right. Well, let's see if we can help you. Tell us why you're calling.
Well, my question is, does God hurt people that I love and care about to punish me, to get to me, to make me care, I guess? I'm not sure how to answer the question.
And Scott, would you
my son,
mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I think you're doing it. Fill in the story for us of why you're asking the question.
Monday morning, my son, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been slipping up, red flags. My son had seizures and was paralyzed.
Oh, no.
And I feel convicted. I feel like it's my fault. And I don't know. I'm very angry at God right now. And I know that's not right, and I shouldn't be.
Well, it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to express it to him, but just don't get stuck there. But I'll let the lady speak, but I don't believe that you're the fault of your son's seizures. I don't believe that for a minute. God is a merciful God. God is a God of comfort. He allows things. He doesn't cause them, but he allows them. And I think you'll find God in this mix if you plow through it. But what do you ladies think?
Well, Scott, I want to acknowledge also that the mistakes we make, they do have consequences, of course. And so your humble honesty that you're acknowledging you're relapsing with alcohol. So no wonder you're considering this question, is God punishing my loved ones to punish me? I want to lead.
Especially after you promise him that you won't do it anymore.
Oh, and broke your promise.
I promised God that I wouldn't if he would let my family reconcile what you did. He honored that. 10 years ago, my wife left, took the kids, and did a 360. Well, marriage is rock solid now. It's kind of a blessing that it happened, and I'm kind of wondering if you're doing the same thing again. I'm questioning my faith. Do I want to follow someone like that?
Mm.
And that happens so much, Scott. It's called a spiritual or faith trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason so often, I had one, I have a chapter in my book that's called Where is God? Because I was mad at God too. Because I had some situations happen in my life that I didn't know who to blame because they were so painful and so hurtful and so devastating, and it jacked me up big time. And so I totally get you. And I had to do some serious soul work during that time. But what I found, and I don't know if this has any meaning right now for you, but when I looked at God and I looked at bad things that happen and I looked at evil, where I've come to is that God is in the role. He's never the author of evil.
Right.
Bad things happen, and what happens when something bad happens to us or around us, we immediately attach that bad thing to us. We somehow feel responsible. You know what that's a result of? It's actually a result of shame and your brain. Your brain is wired to protect you, and so it attaches this negative message. It's a false message. It's a lie, actually, because we're the closest thing to that bad thing that happened. So somehow we think it's our fault. But it's not true.
And the other thing we're wired for is to ask why and expect we're going to know why.
That's true, Larry.
And we are not going to know why to so many things that happen to us this side of heaven. But when the things that we don't understand why happen, our response needs to be to further trust God, not further withdraw from God. So I know it's the natural instinct to get mad at God and to think that he caused this, but it's not the case, I promise you.
And I can't help but wonder, Scott, about your parents. And I bet you grew up in a home that was chaotic, and you may have even had alcohol or some other addiction, or you may have been beat. You may have had withdrawal in your home or punishment, all these really hurtful ways, toxic ways of being raised. So of course your wires are going to be crisscrossed, and of course you're going to think that God is punishing instead of that He's loving you and He's right there. He's walking every step out, and I can just imagine your fear with your son right now. But I'll tell you where you'll find a community of people that will love you. In that AA meeting, you're going to find people that have stories just like you. And they're going to show up, just like we'll show up here at New Life. We care about what's happening to you.
Yeah, lean into God. Don't lean away from Him. But it's okay to express anger at Him. He'll respond to you. Hold the line.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. Everybody wants to be happy, but the problem is so many of us are stuck in the struggles of life and weighed down by our past hurts and mistakes. If you want to learn how to become a happier you, join us for this year's Life Recovery Conference.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here, and a lot of times I hear people say, recovery just isn't for me, I'm not an addict. Well, actually, recovery is for everyone. If you're struggling in any area, you don't have to be an addict to do better when you surrender and take the steps to a happier life.
12 Steps to Happier with speakers Steve Arterburn, Dr. Dave Stoop, Chris Williams, Becky Brown, Jack West, and Amanda Anderson on Saturday, October 5th at Mariners Church in Irvine.
Come join me and our team of speakers for a day filled with wisdom and practical help.
12 Steps to Happier, October 5th at Mariners Church in Irvine. To register, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or visit liferecoverygroups.com. That's 1-800-639-5433 or liferecoverygroups.com. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we're back. Scott, Alice has a thought, and when she's done, I've got a thought too, and then we'll move on from there.
Scott, we want to acknowledge the tragedy of seeing your son become paralyzed, going through seizures. It's just dreadful, and there aren't sufficient words for what you're going through and feeling. And I'm concerned that the enemy wants to misguide you into thinking you're responsible for what you're not and guilty for what you're not, because it'll keep you raging against God and trying to change something that you don't have the power over. And so I want to tap into and increase that humility you have with the acknowledgement that you are relapsing and that your history of alcoholism has hurt your family, not caused your son's paralysis, but it has hurt your family. Because acknowledging that and accepting that right now and taking the action step that Sherry recommended, you can do something for the good of your family. But if you stay stuck on, it's my fault my son is paralyzed, you can't do anything about that except for pray, and of course pray about it. But take that guilt and allow God to show you the godly sorrow which motivates you to continue to become the man that your family needs you to be and that your son needs you to be.
Good words.
Beautiful,
good
Alice.
words, Alice. And Scott, you're a recovering alcoholic, and I want to encourage you, go to an AA meeting. I hope you've been going to a regular one, but if not, go and connect again. You need to be around those people, and they need to be around you. Get back into step work. Too often, when you feel pain, and we're all this way, and we don't understand why something happens, we pull away from God, and it's the time you need to lean into Him. And so, trust Him. It's hard because we can't see what's ahead, but He can. And we can't answer all the what-ifs, but He's got the answers. So, God promised He'll never leave us or forsake us. And Scott, we have a life recovery workshop coming up in October. I want you to hang on and let us tell you about that when this call's over. And we want to send you a copy of Forgiving What You Never Forget. It's a book by Dave Stoop, and I think that will help you in your spiritual journey as well. But we want you to know that we love you, we care for you, and we want you to find healing and to draw closer to God during this tough time when it's so natural to want to pull away. So thank you for calling. Okay, I had another call picked out. There it is. It's Megan, and Megan is on line 5, I think it is. Yes, listens in Hackenstown, New Jersey. Listens on the internet. Hello, Megan.
Hi, Megan. Hi, it's Megan. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, how could we help you?
So basically, I've been in a relationship with my partner for about 7 years. About 5 years into the relationship, it started to get a little torturous for me. There was a lot of anger directed at me. I couldn't do anything right. Even just breathing was making him mad. A lot of silent treatment I got for pretty much no reason. And that continued for a while until it eventually led to him breaking it off, stating that he was angry because we had not progressed in a natural way to a committed relationship in the sense of engagement, marriage, living together. So that was a real hard time for me. I had met with a therapist, gone through that pain. Eventually we got back together. We've been together again for about a year, and I'm starting to see some of these behaviors creep up again. And basically what I've been told is that he wants to have a baby. He came to me and told me he wants to have a baby. Now, we're older. I'm 42. He's 53. He was married and divorced. I've never been married. None of us have children. And now he wants a baby. It's been a very hard thing for me to think about. And our latest discussion as of Sunday was that pretty much he's going to seek out having a baby with or without me. He would like to do it with me if I agree to that, but he doesn't feel he's at a point where he can jump in feet first and give me the commitment to a marriage that I would want prior to actually having a baby in this situation.
So tell us
I'm really struggling with that.
Put it in question form for us.
So I guess my question is, what is the right thing to do in God's eyes with this situation? It's been very painful for me.
Okay.
Of course it has been. How does it feel to be an egg donor?
Good, well put, Sherry.
It makes me sad.
Of course it does, sweetheart. Because you know why? You are worth so much more. And beyond the egg donation, let me tell you what I think is really going on. I think that you're really afraid to walk away from him because you have invested so much time and energy. 7 years is a long time. But I think you're afraid to be alone. Because I think you're having a hard time trusting your gut with the anger and the withholding of love. And this is control. This is a demand. This is a manipulation, right? It's not okay. It's not a healthy component to love and partnership and affection. And it is to meet his needs and not to listen to you. And you've been feeling that all along, but you're not listening to your gut. What is that?
No, I have no idea. I know that this is not right, and I know that I haven't been treating him like that, and I've been there through thick and thin, and I don't know why I can't walk away from it and say, this is not right.
I know. We're voting for
is
you.
not right.
Hey, just hearing you say that, I want to hug you and clap and jump up and down, except, I'd make a lot of noise here in the studio. But I'm so proud of you. It's good. It sounds good to have it come out of your mouth. What are your thoughts, Alice?
I feel...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I feel like a part of my struggle is that to a whole lot of people, he is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. And he started out as wonderful to me, but I have this different side, and he is not wonderful to me. And I struggle with...
That's a reason to walk away.
Megan, do you think it's your fault that you bring out this side of him? Does it feel like that?
I don't know. I've questioned that over and over, and I've gone to therapists and questioned, what am I doing?
And I think he implies that it is your fault and that you bring out the worst in him, and that if you were better and you were different and you would have a baby, then he could be the man that he truly is. And I think that's a lie.
Yes, he did blame me a year and a half ago for us not being married because I never, talked about getting engaged. I never brought it up to him. So that was my when he broke up with me. Then I took the fault because it was my fault because I did not progress the relationship. And now he's saying that he brought the subject up about the baby 4 weeks ago, and I haven't really approached it with him. And if I would have approached him in the last 4 weeks, maybe things would be different, and he would feel about committing to me first. But
Megan, he's doing something to you. That's gaslighting. He's making it seem like it's your fault and you're the bad one and you're the crazy one. You're the one that brings this out of him, that it's you. And this is a lie. Mm-hmm. Of course you're imperfect. I'm imperfect too. Of course you're imperfect. But he is bullying you, and he is verbally and emotionally abusing you. And what he is doing, it's not love. And I don't doubt you're afraid that if you let go of this man, that you may not find another man, that you may not have another chance to have a baby. Does that hit home for you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Megan, your hesitation to move forward has been self-protective and wise. You aren't protected from this man. He's not protecting you.
He's using you. And so often when somebody has some narcissistic traits, and I don't know them, right? I mean, I almost hate to say that because I don't know them, but it's that usury. Oh. It's that I look good to everybody else, but our relationship is really funky. I feel like I have to become another person because I'm never enough for you. And so those narcissistic traits suck the life out of you. And yet women and men have a hard time leaving that because they look so good on the surface. It's, but that's the illusion. You need to really listen to your gut. Larry
well, I'm just shaking my head that he would even say, if you're not going to have a baby with me, I'll go find somebody else. I mean, you're opening a comment, how does it feel to be an egg donor?
Yeah.
That's just...
You are way more than an egg donor, girl.
You are so precious in God's sight, and he doesn't see that.
I cried in that moment, and he sat there stone-faced.
Yeah. Okay, girl. Not only walk, I want you to run.
Yeah.
I just want you to run away and trust God to bring you someone who's able to see you.
Change your phone number if you have to. We'll be back right after this.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. They'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. It's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Okay, we're back. We're just going to wrap things up with Megan here. Alice, you've got a thought or two.
Well, Megan, I think you were responding to the truth and the strength in what Sherry was saying to you, and she was bringing truth out of you as well. I imagine you're isolated with this man, and you may not have enough people in your life telling you about your true worth. So I want two things for you and from you. I want you today to look for a group of women, whether it's at your church or in the area. If it's even Al-Anon would be a good group for you. Because that's where you'll continue to get the strength to make the tough choices. We can't separate when we're totally isolated. It keeps us stuck with people like this. But the second part is to learn about your worth through both of the women and the group, but also to set a better standard for your worth. Don't have a baby just if he agrees to be married to you. Only have a baby with a man who will respect and trust you and create a safe home for a child to be brought into, a safe marriage for a child to be brought into. Continue with your protective instinct for your future children.
Megan, thank you for calling us. I just can't say it loud enough and get out of there.
and Larry, we have New Life recovery groups.
Yes,
and so
we do.
if she stays on the line, Megan, we could connect you with a group of women who would be just right for you.
Yeah, I wish he would have called. We would have told him a thing or two.
Yeah, there's a protective daddy right
gosh.
there.
Yeah,
How about
feel
Take
free.
Your Life Back?
Take Your Life Back. We'll send that to you, Megan. Thank you. Okay, we're going to talk to Susan. Susan's on line 7. Listens in Reading, Pennsylvania. Been patiently waiting. Hi, Susan. How can we help you?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call. I'm sorry, I'm nervous, so I'm probably going to sound pretty stupid. I'm calling about my 4-year-old granddaughter, whom I babysit 3 days a week, basically 9 to 10 hours a day, sometimes as much as 12 hours a day. The other 2 days a week she goes to preschool. And what I've been noticing a lot lately, I also babysit her little brother who's 18 months old. So I have the 2 kids, and it's, I'm a little bit older, so it's difficult. I try to play with them and take care of them as best I can. But I notice there are times when my granddaughter almost acts like she's like a wild stallion, where she can't be calmed down. She'll run through the house crazily, and I do take the kids outside and we play outside. But I mean, these are strange things that she does, like when her mom comes to pick her up, or my son, her father, when either one of them would come to pick her up. There are times when, it's like they tell her, okay, Addie, get your shoes on now. Well, she'll refuse to do that, and she starts running through the house. It gets to the point where, and she screams and she's wild. It gets to the point where they actually literally have to pick her up and carry her out of the house without her shoes on. I mean, these are just some of the things that she does, and she's very impulsive and hyperactive. And I'm just wondering, what can I do, when this behavior is not all the time, but when I see it starting to happen, what can I do to calm her down? What can I try to do?
Susan,
I'm kind of at my wit's end.
How does your son and daughter-in-law respond to your concerns about their daughter?
Well, my son, when, like he'll say, oh, yeah, she does this at home too. However, when she's at preschool, I've asked my son, well, what do they say in preschool? Is she acting like this there too? And he says, oh, no, she's like, she's the leader of the class. Like she's, her behavior is wonderful. But then again, preschool isn't that many hours of the day either.
And I want to bring in, just because we're so limited on time here in the end of the show, I want to bring in one more piece of information that you said she steals her little brother's food. Can you just give us one sentence about that?
The other day I was preparing dinner for the two of them, and I had already given her some food first, and then I put some on his little booster seat tray, and he's eating his food, and she gets out of her seat and comes over and steals his. And at the time, a friend who I'm usually not on the phone when the kids are here, but an elderly friend of mine happened to call because she had just gotten out of the hospital. So she was calling to give me an update on how she was doing. And so at the time, I don't know if it's because my granddaughter was trying to get, I don't know if she was trying to
let me
get
tell
my
you
attention.
Yes, there you go. This is a little girl who's starving for attention. To have you there.
I try to give her as much attention as I can.
So no, but guess what?
When I have the two of them, of course, it's hard because I'm still changing diapers and you know what I mean. And
but I want to say something. This is, and it's not gonna preach well. It's not gonna preach well. This little girl is not getting enough attention with her mommy and daddy. And I love the fact that you are a grandma that is very involved. But when you're there 12 hours a day, 10 to 12 hours a day, and you are there on the weekends, you are the primary caretaker. And I don't know what their financial situation is, but I'll tell you, this little girl is hungry for attention, and she's attention seeking. She's only 4, right? Her behavior is telling on her. And so when she's in her daycare, she's surrounded by lots of other kids, and she's surrounded by leaders that she may feel she's getting more of what she needs. So I would definitely recommend you all get her and your kids, your son and daughter-in-law, in to see a child psychologist, that they can help figure out what's going on with her. So to curb this, right, rather than ignoring it, rather than just calling her, the little one that's running around, and there's some cries for help here that I think look like, give me attention.
Might be good for the parents to listen to this program and listen to your suggestion.
Yeah, maybe.
To hear it from somebody else.
Yeah, I just know I care about you guys as a couple. But we see this, Alice, I know, probably in the kiddos that you work with, a lot of times we want to make it about the child, like something's wrong with them. But when you really look at their environment, there's some changes that may need to be made. And I don't know what those are for you, but a good child psychologist can sit down and resource with you.
I'm concerned that your son may minimize what your description is to him, and it sounds a little bit like they kind of foist the behavior on you, and you take care of her for 12 hours, which is too much for you, and it may be too much for your granddaughter. So I want you to pursue 2 things for all of your sake. One is deciding what your limit is of what you're able to tolerate and able to give, because it may be pushing you past your limit. And the other, one of my favorite parenting philosophies, is just so down to earth, is parenting with love and logic. And if you can get them on board, let's all read this together. Let's help her out together. For love, for Addie, that may bring some grace and some truth into the situation, and it will equip you of what to do when she's on your time.
And then the one we can send her is How We Love Our Kids by Milan and Kay Yurkovich. It's a fabulous book looking at attachment and attachment-seeking behavior when things aren't really balanced in a household.
The only other little consideration, I think your advice is spot on, and I don't disagree with any of it, but look at diet and sugar. Kids, when they eat a lot of sugar,
you're so smart, Larry.
They can go a little ballistic at times. So just take a look at some diet things as well.
Diet, sugar, Dr. Amen, all his brain stuff. And again, why a good child psychologist would be helpful right now, because they can help sort that out.
So thank you for your call. Jesus says, you are the light of the world. A town built on a hill can't be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. That's what we want to do here. Well, I think New Life Ministries is a light. And we're grateful that you call us. We're grateful that we can help you. We're grateful that God is doing a work through us. I hope you'll support that in some way. But thank you for calling. Sorry we couldn't get to all your calls. Call us on Monday. We'll be back then. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.